Now, Britain's weather forecasts could become more accurate thanks to new research being conducted in the skies over Greenland and Iceland. The survey is part of the International Polar Year launched by Britain's Princess Anne in the UK later today. Our environment correspondent Robert Nisbet explains.
At the watery junction where the chilly Arctic Circle meets the warmer North Atlantic, weather is extreme. Northern Iceland can fall to -30 in winter, while in the summer the south can bask in temperatures of +30. But could the weather here have a knock-on effect in more temperate Britain? This is Haraldur Ólafsson, not only the country's most celebrated weather forecaster, but a professor at the University of Iceland.
And we'll make 3 cross-sections, first at 6,000, and then we go down to 2,000 feet, go back, and then down to 500 feet.
He's part of an international team led by the University of East Anglia, taking to the skies for this detailed study. This is their flying laboratory, a plane kitted out with highly sensitive equipment, including 4 cameras attached to the nose, tail and wings.
OK, then start the run at 1,000 feet from B to C in 3, 2, 1, now.
Today's mission to fly through a strong wind called a tip jet and observe the effect of Iceland and Greenland on the weather downstream. When the atmosphere over the North Atlantic hits the mountainous tip of Greenland and the rocky outcrop of Iceland, it disrupts the natural flow, causing extreme weather events such as tip jets and cyclones. And these can affect the weather in the UK a few days later. This is how they gather the data, devices called drop sondes sent into the atmosphere. Each tube costs £500.
Stand by, 3, 2, 1, release. Son gone. After dropping checks.
Within it there's a thermometer, a pressure sensor, a humidity sensor, as well as a GPS unit and a transmitter. So as it falls, it's sampling the temperature, the pressure, the humidity, and it's sending that information back to the aircraft through the radio link to the console at the back.
This data will be used to build models to help improve the accuracy of our medium-range forecasts.
If we get a good description of the weather around Iceland today, we might be able to improve the forecast for other parts of Europe in 3 days.
The scientists here have another aspiration. They will use the data to examine the cooling effect the distorted winds have on the seas below. That heat exchange drives the conveyor belt of water that keeps northern Europe warm.
The Gulf Stream is partly responsible for Europe having quite a benign, mild climate in the winter times, our warm, wet winters in the UK, for example. If that thermohaline shut down, we would have much colder continental-style climate, so more like northern Canada, for example, which is on a similar latitude, or more like Russia.
So the land of volcanoes and glaciers could help us understand our own environment, sharpening our knowledge of what weather to expect, while helping policymakers understand the scale of the climate change challenge. Robert Nisbet, Sky News, Iceland.